You ever wake up next to someone and wonder if you actually know who they are? That was me 2 months ago. Lying next to my wife, Julia, staring at the ceiling, heart pounding with a question I couldn't shake. Who are you really? We'd been married for 5 years. From the outside, we were perfect. Dinner parties, Instagram smiles, weekend getaways. But behind closed doors, things started to shift. Subtle at first. She started guarding her phone like it was made of gold. Suddenly working late. Smiling at messages she never let me see. One night, curiosity got the better of me. While she was showering, I picked up her phone. Locked? Of course. But what chilled me wasn't the lock. It was the second of panic I saw in her eyes when she walked out and saw me holding it. She didn't yell. She didn't ask questions. She just took it and said, "Don't go through my things." That moment stuck with me like a thorn. Something wasn't right. A week later, I decided to follow her. I felt disgusting doing it, like some cheap stalker in a movie. But I needed answers. She said she was going to meet her friend Chloe for brunch. I waited 10 minutes, then got in my car. She didn't go to Chloe's. She went to a hotel. At first, I thought, maybe it's for a surprise. Maybe she's planning something for our anniversary. I waited across the street. 10 minutes passed. Then 20. Then a man arrived. Tall. Clean-cut. Confident. He didn't knock. He walked in like he belonged. And I just sat there. Staring. Numb. I didn't confront her that day. I drove home, gripping the steering wheel so hard my hands were sore. I didn't sleep that night. Or the next. Instead, I started planning. Not for revenge. Not yet. For truth. The next morning, I acted normal. Made her coffee the way she liked it. Kissed her forehead. "Have a good day, babe," I said, smiling like nothing was wrong. She smiled back. And just like that, I hated her smile. I spent the next few days watching patterns. She always left at the same time. Claimed to be going to yoga. Or work meetings. But I knew where she was going now, to him. I needed a name. A face. Proof. So I hired someone. A private investigator named Marcus. He looked like he didn't care about drama, just results. I handed him Julia's photo and said, "I want to know who he is." Marcus was quick. In 2 days, he came back with a folder. Inside were photos, high quality, painful evidence. My wife. Holding his hand. Kissing him in public like they had no reason to hide. There was even a receipt from the hotel. Her name, his name. His name was Daniel Roth. I didn't know him personally, but the name rang a bell. So I searched. And what I found made me sick. Daniel wasn't just some stranger. He worked at the same law firm as me, a different department, but still. We'd shared elevators, meetings, jokes over coffee in the break room. And all this time, he was sleeping with my wife. I stared at his LinkedIn profile for a long time, wondering how many lies you could fit into a smile. Now I had everything I needed. But I still didn't confront her. Instead, I started collecting more. Every lie she told, I wrote it down. Every excuse, every sudden errand, I tracked them all. I wanted her to bury herself in her own deception. I began recording our conversations. I pretended to be extra loving, taking her out to dinner, planning dates, telling her how much I appreciated her. She ate it up, and the more she smiled, the more I planned. Not just for truth anymore. Now, I wanted her to feel what I felt. Not anger. Not even betrayal. I wanted her to feel small. Powerless. Just like I had when I watched her walk into that hotel with him. I had the evidence. The photos. The hotel receipts. Screenshots from Daniel's social media. Even a copy of Julia's call logs. Marcus got them somehow. I felt like a detective in a story I never wanted to be part of. But I wasn't done yet. I needed a moment. One perfect moment where the truth would hit her so hard she couldn't breathe. So I waited, and waited, until the timing was just right. It came 3 weeks later. Our anniversary. She'd completely forgotten, of course. Didn't mention a word about it in the morning. No card. No gift. Just another excuse to meet Chloe, but I smiled, kissed her cheek and said, "Hey, why don't we celebrate tonight? Just you and me. Fancy dinner. My treat." Her eyes flickered, just for a second. But then she smiled. "That sounds amazing, babe. I'd love that." She was lying through her teeth. That evening, I made reservations at her favorite rooftop restaurant, the one with the view of the city she always said looked like magic. She showed up wearing that red dress, the one she knew I loved. Lipstick, heels, perfume I hadn't smelled in months. I almost laughed. She was dressed to impress, but not for me. The dinner started like any other. Small talk, laughter, wine. And then, I pulled out a small black envelope and slid it across the table. She raised an eyebrow. "What's this?" I didn't answer, just leaned back and watched. She opened it slowly. Inside, photos. The hotel receipt. A printed screenshot of Daniel's arm around her outside his apartment. Her face went pale. Completely still. For a moment, I thought she might lie again. That she'd spin some ridiculous story. But she didn't. She just whispered, "How long have you known?" I stared at her. Let the silence press down like a storm. "Long enough," I said coldly. "Long enough to know I married a stranger." Her hand started to tremble. "It didn't mean anything." I cut her off. "Don't insult me more than you already have." She looked like she wanted to cry. And for a second, I saw a flicker of the woman I used to love. But I wasn't done. I stood up, leaned forward, and whispered in her ear so no one else could hear. "You've got 24 hours to pack your things and get out of my house. I already changed the locks. I'll be staying at a hotel tonight." Then I walked away. Didn't look back. Didn't give her the satisfaction. I left her there, alone, broken, and exposed just like she deserved. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat in a cheap hotel room, staring at the ceiling, still hearing her voice in my head. The excuses. The fake apologies. The betrayal. She tried calling. 5 times. Then texts. "Can we talk? Please. I didn't want to hurt you." I didn't respond. What was there to say? I gave her everything. And she handed it to another man like it was nothing. The next morning, I went back home. She was gone. The house felt cold. Empty. Like it had been scrubbed of all the fake happiness we used to pretend was real. But she left something behind. A letter, folded neatly on the kitchen counter. It read, "I know there's nothing I can say to fix what I've done. I never meant for it to go this far. I was lonely, confused, and I made the worst mistake of my life. But I did love you. I still do. And if there's even a small chance you could forgive me, I'll be waiting." I read it once. Then I burned it. Not out of anger. Out of finality. She'd made her choice. And now, I was making mine. But the story doesn't end there. A few weeks later, I saw Daniel at work. He looked surprised. Nervous. Like he expected me to punch him in the face. Honestly, I wanted to. But instead, I smiled. "Morning, Daniel," I said calmly. "Heard you're great at keeping secrets." He didn't respond. His eyes dropped to the floor, and he walked away like a coward. Later that week, he was gone. Transferred to another branch. Maybe he quit. Maybe someone from HR found out. I didn't ask. I didn't care. I started therapy after that. I didn't go to heal the marriage. I went to heal myself. To understand how I let things slide for so long. How I missed the signs. How I lost myself trying to keep someone who was already gone. And slowly, I started rebuilding. The silence in my home became peace. The loneliness became clarity. And the pain, well, it became part of the story. My story. But just when I thought it was all behind me, she came back. It was a rainy Thursday afternoon when she showed up. I was coming back from work, arms full of groceries, when I saw her standing at my door, drenched, makeup running, holding an umbrella that wasn't doing its job. For a moment, I thought I was hallucinating. "Julia?" She looked up. Eyes red. Voice barely above a whisper. "Can we talk?" I didn't answer. Just unlocked the door and stepped inside. She followed. The silence between us was thick, the kind that carries every unsaid word like a weight in the air. She stood in the hallway, dripping water on the floor, eyes scanning the place like she was searching for ghosts. "I know I'm the last person you want to see," she said finally. "But I had to try." I crossed my arms. "Try what?" "To explain what I already saw with my own eyes?" She stepped closer. "I'm not here to ask for pity. I'm here to ask for truth. One more time." I stayed silent. She reached into her purse and pulled out a photo, one of us from 3 years ago. We were smiling, on a beach in Mexico, arms around each other like nothing could ever touch us. "I lost that," she said. "We lost that. And I know it was my fault. But I need you to know. I never stopped loving you. Even when I was with him, I thought about you. About what we had. About how I destroyed it." I wanted to scream. To yell. "Then why did you throw it away?" But I didn't. Instead, I asked, "And what do you want from me now?" She took a deep breath. "Closure. Or maybe, a second chance." The room was quiet again. I looked at her, the woman I once loved more than anything. The woman who shattered me. And for a second, a very brief second, I remembered what it felt like to hold her, but I also remembered the hotel. The lies. The letter. So I said, "You're 5 months too late, Julia." She blinked. "What do you mean?" "I've moved on. I'm seeing someone. Someone honest. Someone who doesn't need secrets to feel alive." She opened her mouth like she wanted to argue. But nothing came out. Tears welled in her eyes. She nodded. "I understand." She turned to leave, hand on the doorknob. But before she walked out, I said one last thing. "I hope you find what you're looking for. But it's not here anymore." She didn't reply, just walked out into the rain. No umbrella this time. And as the door closed behind her, I felt something I hadn't felt in months. Peace. Not because I hurt her. Not because I won. But because I finally let go.